Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be ranking every way that I can think of to make your home smell good. I put them into 4 categories: flame, spray, electric, and analog. First up, flame. Candles can be such a good way to set the tone for a space. That being said, they have a limited lifespan and you can't just burn candles all the time. That would be very, very expensive. Depending on the candle, it can, leave a bit of soot on the walls or a bit of a waxy substance near where you're burning it. Candles are great for setting a mood. If you're having a cozy night in, having some friends over, getting some work done, have a little candle on your desk. This is one of my all-time favorite candles, Cannabis by Melon & Getz. Candles have been around forever and they're not going anywhere. Steady staple. Candles, A. Next up, incense. Incense has been around for over 6,000 years. It's one of the oldest forms of scenting a space. It comes in tons of different scents and releases a pleasant, smoky aroma when you burn it. Incense is going to be great for setting the tone for maybe a yoga session. I like to burn incense while I'm cleaning, makes the space feel refreshed. I do like to have a window open while burning incense, otherwise it'll get a little smoky and hazy in the room, which can be a really great vibe in very specific circumstances, but I really don't find myself burning incense all that often. A little trick I like to use incense for is to put a box of incense in my closet or in my drawers, and the oils from the incense will slowly evaporate into the surrounding area and make that drawer or closet smell really nice without even having to burn it. I have a couple different types here. This is a traditional incense. This is a Japanese style incense that doesn't have the piece of wood in the middle of it. It's just the incense itself. There's also cone incense that often is used in very decorative holders, and the smoke flows through the holder in a very beautiful way usually. It is very cool, so points for style. Incense, B. Next up are sprays. You've got a more air freshener style spray like Febreze that maybe has some chemicals in it that help neutralize or remove odors in addition to being fragranced. And then you've got a more traditional room or linen spray that is just the fragrance oil and doesn't necessarily have any odor neutralizing properties about it. Options like Febreze or even Ozium are great ways to neutralize unpleasant odors that you don't want in your house, which is such an important part of making your home smell good. I'll talk more in another video about all of the ways that you can remove unpleasant odors from your home. These sprays usually don't have the most sophisticated or pleasant scent. They'll smell okay and they'll do a decent job at removing odors. Air freshener sprays that remove odors get an A from me. More traditional room and linen sprays will just spray a nice pleasant smell onto whatever surface or into the air that you spray it. The smell usually does not last that long and it has a limited range of effect. Usually you can find them with very nice fragrances though. I'll give room and linen sprays a B. Next we have our electric fragrance options. Wall plugins are an easy and accessible way to make your home smell good. You can find them just about anywhere. They're relatively affordable and they're very low maintenance. That being said, I've had a lot of issues with mine. The warmer elements in them will malfunction, or I just can't really smell it across the room. Their range is sort of limited. If you're looking for nicer smells, the refills can get kind of pricey as well. I have a whole video on my channel about why I'm trading some of my wall plugins for other methods of home fragrance. They can be helpful in smaller areas and corners of your house that you need a low maintenance fragrance option and you want to keep fresh, but they're definitely not the powerhouse that I need for my home. For me, wall plugins get a B. Ultrasonic diffusers are filled with water and then you put a few drops of your fragrance oil in and it will run for a few hours, up to 12 hours, until the water runs out and you have to refill it the next time you use it. It does add moisture to the air, which is nice if you need it and sort of annoying if you don't. I think this option is really great, similar to candles if you need a nice fragrance for a few hours. The great thing about these is that you can choose your own fragrance oils or essential oils to put into the diffuser, so you don't have to spend money on expensive proprietary refill products. You can use a new fragrance or essential oil each time you use it, which is great. They're very affordable and very easy to find. I personally don't use these because I get frustrated having to refill the reservoir with water each time I use it, but I think they are a good and affordable option for someone in a pinch. Ultrasonic diffusers get a C. Next up, we have these auto sprayers that are a device that sprays a can of aerosol freshener into the air at a set interval. These are commonly used in bathrooms, especially in businesses. You'll find these hung on the wall or on a counter. They're kind of nice because they are fairly low maintenance. One of these cans will last you a couple months depending on what fragrance intensity you have it set at. Unfortunately, it's not very pretty. I think they've done some work to try to make them look a little nicer, but it just doesn't look great, and they also don't smell great. The fragrance options that you have to choose from, this is an Airwick 24/7 fresh refill. The scents that you have to choose from, unfortunately, just are not great. They will do okay, like I said, in a public restroom. You can find these online or at several different stores for about $15 to $20 for a starter pack, and then the refills are about $6 or $7. I bought this one for my bathroom a little while back, and it's fine, but I think for the price point, you can get something better. These get a D. Next up, oil warmers and wax melts. I've used these several times before. They do a decent job at scenting a small to medium sized room. They're not too expensive, and there are some options that look really nice on a countertop or on a shelf. You can find wax melts that smell pretty nice at many different stores. Crafters make them a lot. You can find them online or at craft fairs. I used these for several years, and they're pretty decent. They're not my go-to option now. You do sort of have to monitor the scent level of the wax. Eventually, the scent will sort of like run out, and you'll have to throw that wax away and replace it with new wax. I don't use these anymore, but overall, decent option. I'd give it a B. Next up are cold air diffusers. The great thing about these is that they have just a reservoir. You can fill this up with fragrance oil and it will last for weeks to months without needing any maintenance. About once a month, you do want to clean them out so that they don't get clogged up with oil. All you have to do is put isopropyl alcohol in the container and let it run for a few minutes with that. Otherwise, it's one of the most low maintenance home fragrance options available. It fills up the room nicely. That being said, it is one of the more expensive options. This unit was about $120. This one's a lot quieter than my other more traditional cold air diffuser. This one's also battery powered, so I can remove it from its charging base and set it anywhere for a while, and it will keep running for a few hours. I think it's totally worth it. I can let this thing run for a month or two, and it will keep my home continuously smelling so great. It has an app that it comes with, and you can schedule when you want it to run. I have friends and family coming over to my house quite frequently, so I don't have to worry about lighting a candle or making sure that my plugins are working properly for there to be a nice fragrance when someone walks into my home. This thing has always just got my back. My home always smells great. Cold air diffusers also come in versions that attach to your HVAC system and will turn on when the air or heat is actively running in your home, and that will spread the fragrance to your whole home. But that does require the HVAC system to be running in order to spread scent throughout your home. I've had this unit for about 2 months, and I'm very, very pleased with it. I would give this an S. Next up, we have analog methods. These are going to be anything that doesn't require electricity or flame. Reed diffusers. These again are one of the oldest ways of fragrancing a space. It works by absorbing the fragrance through capillary action up through these reeds, and then it evaporates into the air. The more reeds that you have in one of the diffusers, the stronger the fragrance will be. This one also came with some dried flowers that also absorb the fragrance and help release it into the air, and it looks pretty great. It works as a decoration on a shelf as well as making your space smell great. They don't have the most sillage, they don't fill up the room as well as maybe some of the other options. You can add more diffuser sticks to help the fragrance spread throughout the room more easily, or you can place it next to a fan or a vent so that the airflow helps circulate the fragrance. I've also seen very giant versions of reed diffusers that I can imagine would fill up a whole room. I've recently come back to Reed diffusers as one of my favorite ways to fragrance my home. The best part about them is that they don't require any electricity. They work on their own, meaning you can put them anywhere. I like to have them on shelves, tables, counters. You can place them near walkways and doorways so that it's easier to smell them as you come into a room. You don't have to worry about needing an outlet nearby. These come in all kinds of great fragrances, and you can even refill them. You can reuse the bottle and the reeds. You can replace the reeds if they get clogged up. They're super versatile. Reed diffusers get an A from me. I don't have much to say about gel fragrance. I don't love it, but it is a way that you can make your home smell nice. They either come in gel beads in a container or in those sort of stand-up containers that you twist and they look really bad, and I don't love them. They usually don't smell great, but they are an option in a pinch if you need to add a little fragrance or maybe cover up a little fragrance. They are an option. They're pretty affordable. Gel diffusers get an F. I haven't used Potpourri a lot, but I think it's a really interesting way to add some scent to your home. Potpourri is a mixture of dried plant parts like petals and herbs and oils that are placed usually in like a sachet or a bowl, and it provides a very subtle scent to a space. Usually the fragrance in these does not spread very wide. It's not going to fill a room, but it is nice to have on maybe a mantle or a table to just provide a little pop of scent. It's sort of like a scent accessory to the room. While fun and kind of beautiful, it is not the most efficient way to scent a space. I'll give it a C for style. Next, we have solid diffusers. That's just what I'm calling them. These are things like cardboard or sometimes even a piece of ceramic that is saturated in a fragrance so that as it sits in a space, it gradually evaporates and releases the smell into that space. These are most commonly found as the cardboard car air fresheners, the little trees that hang from your mirror, but they can also be put in closets and drawers to freshen up those spaces as well. Kind of like Potpourri, they're good at putting a small amount of fragrance in a small space, but they're not gonna fill your house with scent. Nice to have, but not essential, mildly helpful. These get a C. And one of the most fun ways to make your house smell nice, a simmer pot. This is when you take a pot of boiling water and add fragrant items like cinnamon, orange, nutmeg, clove, pine needles, anything that will release a scent as it heats up and make your home smell nice. This is one of my favorite ways to add a nice spiced scent to especially my kitchen during the holidays, and it's very fun to do. It'll become more and more fragrant as it boils, as all of those oils released from the items that you've put in there, and it will make your house smell so lovely. Is it the most efficient way to scent your home? No, not really. Because it's very fun to do and relatively affordable, this will get a B. So that's every way that I could think of to make your home smell nice. Did I forget any? Let me know down below, and let me know what you think of how I rated these. Make sure to check out this other recent video I did on cold air diffusers, which is my favorite new way to make my home smell great. I'll go over a few different varieties of them, where to find the fragrance oils, how to use them most efficiently, and some common mistakes to avoid if you're considering getting a cold air diffuser. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so that you can see all of my upcoming videos, and if you feel so compelled, leave a like on the video. It helps a lot and is very much appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you later.